Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, well, he's considered to be a professional paranormal investigator, especially since being ghosted by so many women. He's also my co-host. He's Mr. Taylor.
Good evening, ladies and gents.
Especially the ladies.
Yes,
well, welcome back
ladies.
to another episode of the show. Thank you, new listeners, and of course, you repeat offenders. Thank you for joining us for another week. We hope you're all lovely.
Yes.
Hope you're all having a great time.
Oh, we having good days.
Good week.
Yeah.
Good nights.
Yeah.
Good mornings.
Is the weather great where you are at the minute?
It's not here.
It's shit.
So, you know what? It's like I did see this thing where it's like they asked a load of Americans, like and Australians and other people around the world, like, what do you do on sunny days? And they said, oh yeah. Get in the pool, have a great time.
Yeah, get the Barbie
They
out.
asked the Brits, and they said, get the washing out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got to get the
raining.
washing out. Yeah, quick as possible before the sun fucks off again.
So like British weather, unpredictable. It's been warm, but bit overcast, innit? It's just
we broke records again this year, haven't we? Yeah.
We have, but I mean, not consistently, which is a bit of a shame because it's like, we have 2 days of really nice weather, and then it just goes like
bit shit
again.
Yeah.
So
and then
maybe you're having a great time. Maybe you're having a great summer.
Yeah,
so
if you
far.
are, minter. If you're not, well,
It usually gets better towards like the end of July, doesn't it? August.
Well, yeah.
We've got stuff coming up in August anyway.
We have.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
If all goes well.
If all goes to plan.
We'll be giving you a bit more information on that a bit later on. But we've got an interesting show for you, and we're repeating. It's a repeat visit. We've done this.
Yeah.
We've done this topic before.
We have done this topic before. We have.
So much has happened and so much has changed since the last time we done it, and you've been like chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I
wanting
have.
to get another episode out. Well, this week, and we're going to be returning to Skinwalker Ranch, also known as Sherman Ranch, which is located in Utah.
Oh yeah, 500 acres.
Yeah, it's in the southeast of Utah. It's got a real kind of reputation for a paranormal. UFO-related activities, and the name the Skinwalker Ranch is actually taken from Navajo legend, from shamans and stuff. So it is quite interesting. UFO reports in Uintah Basin have been published as early as the 1960s. The UFO paranormal world claim that it's a bit of a hotbed.
Definitely.
And as the ranches basically first appeared in 1996 in the Salt Lake City, Utah Desert News, stating that basically like it was
some weird shit going on.
Well, what was it? What were they called now? The Shermans.
Yes.
Yeah. Terry Sherman, I believe. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
In 1996, they started having a lot of incidents. It started getting publicized a bit more, like I say, in the Salt Lake City, Utah Desert News, and then later on in the Las Vegas Mercury.
Yeah.
So a lot of weird stuff has gone on.
You haven't heard about this place, then where have you been?
In Skinwalker Ranch, a series of articles in the Las Vegas Mercury from George Knapp, basically kind of popularized the area, but I mean, there's been so many different sightings going on from UFOs, like say paranormal.
Yeah,
the Skinwalker itself is like we were discussing is a bit kind of like a witch, witchy, witch.
It's supposed to be a witch that can change into a different.
Well, we're saying
forms.
about like Navajo legend. It's kind of like the witch doctors, warlocks, those types of things, where they can transform. We'll be getting into it all a bit later on in the show.
We will.
That's coming up shortly, plus this week's random world events in the weekly news.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all well worth sticking around for.
Definitely.
Got a question for you, though, Taylor.
Oh, yeah, go on in.
If you could disinvent one thing, so if you could, the world would be a better place if this thing was never invented, what would it be if you could disinvent one thing in the world? What would it be? I'd love to hear you guys' answers as well from listeners at home.
Yeah.
If you've got one thing that you could get rid of.
That's simple, that.
Disinvent Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran, yeah.
Really?
Well, no.
Is that going to benefit mankind?
I think
Probably
so.
would.
It'd benefit me.
It'd benefit you.
Yeah.
Go for it. So you got a real answer.
A real answer, yeah. I'd say banks.
Banks.
The control of banks and how the banks are.
That's interesting. We've got actually an episode coming up. Which might be around those.
Yeah, and parts of that will be about why I picked banks.
Oh, well, there you go. I'd
yourself?
say nukes.
Nuclear.
Yeah, nukes.
Nuclear.
If you got rid of biological or nuclear missile, arms.
Biological.
I think that'd be beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on a personal level, Crocs.
Crocs.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's got to be. It's got to be people who wear socks with Crocs.
Plastic socks with Crocs. Yeah,
yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah, that's just weirdos, man.
I mean, it was like we was talking about this earlier. I said, "What would you disinvent?" He said, "The wheel." I said, how was that going to benefit mankind? That's like a big step back, surely.
Well, it depends, because it stops cars.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? So then that's good for the environment.
We'd all be still riding around on horses.
Well, we won't. Well, yeah, exactly. We'll have more animals around, That means more food as well.
No, not necessarily.
Well, you've had horse meat before. You might not have known it.
Well, no, because this is it, though. There's this big push for, veganism and not eating animals. It's like, if we were
But if you are, it's going to be insects. Yeah, that's what they're bringing
high
in.
source of protein.
They're introducing that now. A lot of insects.
Well, they do eat them in a lot of countries, don't they? I mean, insects.
Well, yeah, and you won't have to go
I
out
remember
for it,
being in Selfridges and seeing those scorpion lollipops and stuff like that.
Lollipops and that,
the people have eaten insects. That's what they say. High source of protein. It's
I've eaten insects.
Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
I've seen him do it, and then he's done it when the plane's just about to pick him up, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to get a Big Mac in a minute.
Yeah,
it's like, why are you eating that? He's like, you got to top up on your protein intake whenever you can.
Yeah, he's got some whiskey as well, so he can swill his mouth out, so, he gets rid of the taste.
Nice. Well, there you go. What would you disinvent? Let us know. Answers on a postcard.
Be interesting
or just comment.
to find
it's
out.
easier,
Yeah, it will be.
Take longer by post these days.
Yeah, snail trail.
Well, what have you been up to this week? Anything interesting?
No, I've just been looking more into our subject story tonight, mostly, and
it's doing heavy research.
Yeah, because I've been watching series on it, but like there's other things to it. You know what I mean? It's really interesting. It seems to me like the number one place to see some weirdness.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I think basically they've got webcams now on the ranch, haven't they? So if you're interested to watch what's going on Skinwalker Ranch, anyway, you can kind of just hop on the. A
lot of things people have reported, and they didn't even notice that it was there.
Oh right, so they've picked up on stuff that they've not, and just by kind of checking out the webcam feeds.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting because obviously having the webcams. I mean, imagine you own that land and you're kind of trying to think, well, how can I monitor this in a way that's going to have eyes on it 24/7? Because you can't monitor it 24/7, and you're looking up in the sky, it could be behind you.
Yeah, you can't really fast forward or
webcams is quite a clever idea in the sense that the community is so large and there's that much of an interest that there'd be a lot of eyes on that webcam. So you're essentially recruiting the world to kind of help you. Monitor the skies around that area. So I mean, I'm not surprised. But like I say, we'll be getting into all this over at Skinwalker a little quite shortly.
Yeah. What have you been up to? Out and out?
I've been working quite a lot this week, so it's been a bit of a kind of pressed for time in a lot of ways. But been a good week.
Good.
Really, kind of just been catching up on stuff, but. Catching up on a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And kind of, when you've got a bit of admin as well and you just can't be bothered doing it?
Yeah.
It's been one of them. So, I feel like we're kind of getting back in the swing of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've had a bit of kind of an intermittency, but we'll get in there,
We are.
I did check out, I don't know if anyone's seen this, but I kind of find it really creepy.
All right, go on.
So Disney Plus are doing a live-action Pinocchio. Do you know, they've done the live-action Aladdin? Guy Ritchie directed that, didn't he?
I think so, yeah.
So you've got that. They did the live-action Lion King, which was mainly CGI.
Yeah.
And now they're doing a live-action Pinocchio, which looks scene for scene like the original, right?
Yeah.
So Pinocchio's CGI, but they've got Tom Hanks to play Geppetto.
Why Tom Hanks?
I mean, it seems a bit kind of creepy. I mean, I'm not sure about this for you know, a
I would have
role.
picked a number of other people before Tom Hanks.
Oh, Pinocchio.
But then he's going to show in it if he's
I wish
a good
I
actor or
might.
not.
Oh, well, he's a great actor.
He is a
Tom
great
Hanks,
actor.
But what I'm
but
getting
it's
at
all
is
the
it's
position
like,
you get put in.
I just find like that, you know, it seems a bit, I mean, I don't know.
I don't think it's the right call.
People watch the trailer, maybe watch the show. I don't know if it's going to be an episode or if it's going to be a movie, but I watched the trailer and it kind of weirded me out. Let me know if you guys are having the same vibe on that one, because I mean, you know.
Well, we were talking before about things getting dark as well. There's a lot of
Don't you
series.
lie to me, Pinocchio.
Oh no, it's getting.
I bet it's dark though. I
yeah.
bet it is going to be a dark series, because I can see how you could break Pinocchio down into a series, because so many things happen.
One
during
week we do
the
his leg,
show,
next week the other
like
leg.
during the film, really, kind of like, obviously you could probably break that down into quite a few episodes.
Yeah,
like
you could probably break
chapters
into
where
a couple
you
of
know, I mean,
series.
he's on that Pleasure Island for a bit. He's Honest John.
Yeah,
you know, then he's in a
How does
belly
a wooden
of a
boy
whale.
get to life? How does
Yeah,
he,
man, it's not
it's a
just going to
journey.
happen over half an hour, is it? It's definitely a journey. And Tom
Yeah.
Hanks is going to be Tom Hanks in
Yeah.
the belly of a whale.
Well,
Looking
yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, yeah, I'll look for the trailer to see it or have a little gander. But yeah, I think Tom Hanks ain't the right part. But he might. Yeah, I might have judged him wrong.
They've just
already.
trussed him up like Geppetto. He just looks like the live action version of the cartoon version of Geppetto. That's it. But it's like it could be anyone under there.
What about his voice? Or is his voice?
He's putting on the Geppetto voice. Right, anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Do you want to help us send something to space?
Yes.
Do you want to help us make the show better?
Yeah.
By
Oh, yeah,
kind of
please.
like, you know, looking out for us, being a part of the team in the respect of, you know, helping fund
Yes.
the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Well, there's a way you can do it.
You can.
You can head over to Patreon.
Oh yes.
And you can sign up in a number of tiers. We've got agent, special agent, or beyond top secret.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we've got a load of ideas, a lot of plans.
Yeah.
But we could do with your help.
We need funding.
Alternatively, yeah, we do. And alternatively, you could maybe buy some merch.
Yes.
Off
We've
the
got
website.
plenty of merch out there.
We've
for
got new
people.
merch available thanks to the fantastic Ross Cooker, who's designed our latest t-shirts and mugs
Wicked
and all
shirt.
that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well worth getting one.
Yes,
before
definitely.
they go.
Good design.
There'll be a description or a link and all that in the description.
It will
yeah.
be.
So
Yes.
yeah, make sure you get over to Patreon, check that out,
Yeah.
or maybe check out some merch.
Or even buy us a coffee. You could come and buy us a coffee. Or you could even just donate what you can.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. If anybody does decide to do that.
Yeah.
So this week's episode is going to be brought to you in part by HelloFresh. So HelloFresh are doing a sale where they're offering 50% off the first box, 35% off the next free by using the code and the link in the description. You can basically, for HelloFresh, it's a pre-portioned ingredients, delicious recipes delivered straight to your door.
No wastage.
Yep, so there's no waste. You can save 50% off your first box and 20. Did I say 15% or 20%?
20, is it?
Yeah, well, 20%. I'll say
Yeah.
20% off your second, third, and fourth boxes.
Oh.
So you can spend less time shopping,
Yeah.
cut down food waste, and enjoy delicious meals every week.
Yeah. There's
Hello
enough
Fresh.
there to try for a week.
Exactly, and HelloFresh is a weekly rolling meal kit that's delivered. You've got no commitment.
Nope.
Cancel it whenever you want.
Yeah.
And enjoy fresh delivered ingredients to your door
Whenever you need
every
it.
week. Yeah, and some people have said, like, do you know what they've done? They've kind of like used it for a bit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of give them a bit more creativity in the kitchen, because they're giving you the ingredients, but then they're
not
giving
just
you a
shoving it
recipe
as-
as well,
Yeah.
right? So they've then gone, do you know what? I've not gone for the meal kit this week, or I've cancelled my HelloFresh potentially.
Yeah.
But they know how to make that meal now, so
do.
they're buying the ingredients when they've gone
Themselves, yeah.
shopping.
Yeah.
So it's also kind of enhancing your culinary skills as well.
That's true.
But not to say that that you won't enjoy HelloFresh and continue to keep the
Yeah.
subscription up.
I mean, it's worth a try, especially if they're dealing with this kind of bargain at the minute. You know what I mean? Get on top of it before it goes.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a link in the description if you're interested in HelloFresh. You know what to do.
Yeah.
Well, moving on. This is the part of the show where we start talking about Skinwalker.
Oh.
I think it's an interesting sort of thing that's going on over there because I mean I love a good mystery.
Yeah.
And I love it when kind of like teams of scientists rock up and they're trying, right, we're going to really smash it now. We're going to try and once and for all definitively say what's going on the ranch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or in whatever mystery it is we're looking at. UFO reports have been published since the 1970s. Claims about the ranches first appeared in 1996 in Salt Lake City, Utah, Desert News, and later in the Las Vegas Mercury. Stories about paranormal, cattle mutilation, UFOs, strange
werewolf,
feelings,
dogs.
people getting sick.
Yeah.
Like you say, werewolf type skinwalkers as they kind of become known.
Radiations, portals.
George Knapp actually wrote a number of articles highlighting what had been reported.
Yeah, he's
and
a big person to go to if for a report because he did quite a few people like Bob Lazar. He was the one who helped Bob Lazar. In fact, he was one of them who stood there and watched the UFOs fly by when they filmed it. Also, he's brought out tons, absolutely tons. All the big ones. He's been right there.
Well, in 1996, the owner of the ranch, Terry Sherman, was basically spooked. Yeah, he'd moved on there with his wife Gwen.
Yeah.
And they just had some absolutely extraordinary experiences.
Oh,
in
scary.
June 1996, they'd seen mysterious crop circles appear. The Sherman said that the UFOs were coming to their... Because what was there? They called it the Castle Ranch for a while, didn't they?
They did. Yeah, they wanted to change the program.
So it was all these kind of like sightings of UFOs were basically just being made by them. Yeah. And George Knapp was writing these stories up, but that obviously kind of got a lot of UFO people, enthusiasts, and brought a lot of attention to the ranch.
And there was also a lot of...
Do you think that Terry was kind of like using maybe because we've talked about like previous before 1996 because there were like some sightings that go back earlier to the 60s.
Yeah, but that's just UFOs. Anything on the property, the family that had it beforehand were there since 1933 and then sold it in 1995. And they their experience there was there was nothing.
They claim there was
nothing went on.
Yeah, sort of activity. But I mean,
like you were saying, there was UFOs around the area and stuff.
Could
like
it
that.
be that they felt that if they spoke out about these experiences they were having on their property, that they might not be able to sell it, or maybe they were just kind of like had an acceptance for it and just kind of felt, well, it's something that happens and we try to ignore it.
Yeah, because it's a bit of mysterious if like there's nothing that actually went on there, because the Navajo actually put a curse on the place. So
yeah, because some people do call it a curse. Some people call it a legend. Some people call it, paranormal or UFO. But a lot of people refer to the ranch as being cursed.
We've got because we have a problem with the native past, because there is actually no written language or anything like that. So it has to come down by verbal only. So it's all on the trust and the recognition of what they're actually saying, what went on, and why this place is like cursed, or because there was a warring faction with another tribe, and one of them had basically put the curse on the other tribe.
On the land.
Yeah, and they put it on the land, so obviously they probably couldn't get food or something like that.
The crops didn't grow
Yeah.
or something along them lines. So,
Yeah.
well, basically, once the Shermans kind of had enough of the place, because they were there about 18 months, weren't they?
Yeah, but it was really terrible stories. I mean, the father and the mother will not go on that land again, but the son did, and he was telling stories about how he had 2 big dogs, and at the bottom of the field they were running around, and then all of a sudden they were squashed.
What?
They were absolutely squashed, and there was like a circle mark around each one of
No.
them. It right in front of his eyes, and he was devastated.
I bet he was. I mean, I'm not being funny or anything, but I mean, what could have caused that to happen?
Well, yeah, because the local sheriff at that time, as well, who still lives in the area, had been there at a number of occasions because of mutilations of cattle. And they also had a circle like they've been, pressured down onto.
Well, we were talking about this, the cattle, right? Because I mean, I've watched a few of these Skinwalker Ranch episodes, where cattle have died, and they claim that it's on energy pockets, or there's a weird energy coming from the ground, right where these cows have died. Could it be? Because we'll go into this.
A magnetic field.
I mean, we'll go into the
be.
magnetic stuff in a minute, because, I think it's such a wide, wide area,
such scientific
and
into it.
It could account for so much.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But the cattle itself, I mean, magnetic fields aren't going to mutilate a cow. Let's put it that way. I mean,
and cut the uterus out.
It needs to be kind of something. Well, exactly.
Clean, you know what I mean?
It needs to be something.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I got to admit, when aliens are coming,
and it was on video.
They're coming a long way. Yeah, these aliens from fucking wherever, Alpha Centauri.
I
they're going to be
go with
parched.
that.
They're going to need a brew when they get here.
Yeah.
They're just not very good at knowing how to milk.
Well, yeah, they're milking the cow wrong.
They're like,
We just
I've
said the
heard you
uterus.
can get moo juice out of this.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Get the uterus out.
And now they're trying to get rid of it.
So, I mean, mutilations of cows is kind of like a bit bizarre, but like by anyone's kind of standard.
This cow was caught on video because he went back and the old place is like got loads of video cameras and that, and you'd watch it. It was there, just lay down. All the other cows legged it, and then they didn't notice before, but above the trees was actually a black object. Above it, well, it was actually dying on the floor.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's just said there it's got a lot of cameras, right?
Yeah.
Under the name of the National Institute of Discovery of Science, Robert Bigelow, he set up the first around-the-clock surveillance of the ranch, hoping to get to the bottom of the paranormal claims.
He built up a big team, actually, of scientists and stuff, and they basically come out with nothing. They
got a book out of it.
Well, they did get a book out of it.
Yeah. The Hunt for the Skinwalker, which is out. You can go and buy that if you want
indeed.
it. Which I'm sure has a lot of interesting things in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's saying that they captured some meaningful physical evidence supporting the Sherman's incredible stories.
Yes, but then later on you find out when you were asked for the evidence, they have no evidence to bring forward. That seems to have been the problem with it. But with that, it looks like there was intelligence services and stuff like that involved in it at the same time. And as you know, they like to keep all their secrets in the back pocket. So
that's why they're called secrets.
Well, yeah, that's true. But yeah, secrets that sometimes need to come out, not need to be hidden.
Okay, well, after Bigelow had it, it was resold to the
2016
the Adamant Real Estate company, which has since applied trademarks on the name Skinwalker.
Yeah,
Skinwalker Ranch, in fact. So you know,
and he's basically does what Bigelow was doing, which was real estate.
So is this the guy who owns it now?
Yes.
Because, I mean, it's changed hands quite a few times. I mean, like, the ranch itself has seen, like we said, crop circles.
Brandon Fugel.
Yeah, so Brandon's the new owner,
Yeah.
right? And he appeared on Coast to Coast, actually, with a load of his kind of scientific team
Yeah,
to try
yeah,
and
that's right, yeah.
to discuss what they were going to do, what the plans were. They'd, like I say, now the website's up. You can kind of watch live streams of what's going on
Yeah.
the ranch 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that these people witnessing things that they're missing.
There's people that
and
are trying to get
reporting it.
into property. Their security is had to go up higher. Dragon, who's their head of security there, he's like he's had to he's got a busy plate because since the series come out and because so much weird things were going on, but also so much dangerous things were going on as well. With radiation, gamma rays, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, the area itself, right? You say that, like, obviously the Navajo Indians, it was a curse that potentially was put on the land.
Yeah.
But there's also quite high deposits of, like, metals in the land, in the ground, right?
Yeah.
So there was a couple of these episodes that we were watching that kind of like they were using a lot of scientific explanations and saying, "Oh, we've done all these scans and tests." And there was one in particular that kind of caught my eye, where it was like they'd made a 3D model of the area, and there was anomalies. But I mean, to me, they kind of seem like, you know, maybe just anomalies with the stitching of the kind of the images that they gathered, maybe, you know, artifacts left behind, or kind of not marrying up the images correctly if they were taken from different heights or altitudes.
Yeah.
Like,
because this is up at the place where they think there's a
they're
portal.
not going to get it
100 feet
perfect,
up.
but they think that this is the spot, like you say, where there's a portal.
And it seems to
right?
be two spots.
Now, I feel like the area itself is quite, like, magnetic, right? And there's a lot of magnetic activity
definitely.
that goes on there. So there's one
Lot of
theory
energy.
that there was actually, because it's in the Uintah Basin, right? And this basin is what it sounds like. It's a basin. It's a big crater, right? So potentially that this ranch is ground zero for an impact. Which has left the crater, the basin.
The crater has to be somewhere there, and we know there's been craters there.
It's left a lot of, like, metallic, metal and magnetic sort of like material in one place, because the way they talk about it is it's like, you know, that they could literally stick a light bulb in the ground and light it up. It's
they showed it, didn't
they?
They
Kind of did do that, but with the aid of a Tesla coil.
Yeah.
And the instruments actually shown that it wasn't the ground that was making them light up, it was the particles from the Tesla coil in the air that were affecting those light bulbs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the
now, what a better
test in the day,
a better test for me would be: can we get any readings out of the ground directly? Yeah, is it because there's an energy coming out? But no, they were trying to pump energy into the ground, not out. Try and get energy out of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And where was that energy going?
Well, yeah, exactly. But they did get a bit of a weird reading, which I thought was interesting. Going into that metallic stuff, they did doing a core test, right? They did find a lot of metallic, sort of.
They've done 2 core tests.
Sort of material.
Yeah.
Which, again, you know, if you've got like magnetic material and you kind of rub a steel fork on it or a knife on a magnet, what happens to the knife? It becomes magnetic itself, doesn't it? It kind of gets a positive magnetic charge and you're able to use it to pick up fucking screws or pennies or whatever you want, right? But imagine there is a meteor impact, maybe Utah's dense in fucking natural, like, iron and, like, you know, other metals itself.
Well, let's get it right. There was an impact 10 million years before.
Well, there you go, right?
A
so if
massive
all
one.
this material is, you know, still left in the ground, still got a positive charge, then maybe it is sort of just an anomaly that happens, like, you know. But whether the side effects to that anomaly, like you saying earlier, is it
Gamma
opening
rays.
portals or is it radioactive?
There's definitely radioactive issues that go on there at certain times when they dig holes.
So we're getting into a realm here where there could be scientific explanation for a good portion of what happens at Skinwalker Ranch. And so, you know, if whilst radiation could account for cattle death, it can't account for mutilation. Yeah. Whereas it can account for people getting unexpectedly sick. it can't account for what they're seeing in the sky, right?
Yeah,
so
but it all
there's a
happens
lot
at
of
the same time. This is
That's
the
what
thing.
I'm saying. There's a lot of contradictory evidence
Yeah.
that, although that explains 50% or some of it, it doesn't explain all of it, is what I'm getting at. So
Yeah.
are these things being drawn to the area because of the anomaly in the magnetic field and this energy? Yeah. Or is it, because of this, is there something there underneath the ground? And that's why whenever they do dig in, or whenever they try and find out what's below the surface, they start witnessing more events, like more things in the sky, more sort of.
Well, they were told, weren't they? They were told, don't. One thing you don't do there, if you don't want any activity, is dig. If you dig, there's activity that goes on, and it does go on.
And they've proven it.
Yeah.
It
It happens
like
every time
whenever
that
they
do. Yeah,
they do get a bit more
but there
activity.
they've done a scan of the area, and there's something 1,000 feet down but they don't know what it is. But it's like 1,000 feet across.
Do you think that there's kind of, there's been so many things that happen that's been reported there. There's been paranormal ghost sightings.
Yeah.
There's been, like you say, werewolf, shape-shifting, skinwalkers.
When the Shermans were there, they even locked their own dogs up.
Do you think that this is kind of like some occurrences that happen intermittently, like it could be this one day and that the next? Or do you think it's something that kind of like you have these patterns emerging where it's like a lot of UFO sightings one year, and then,
Well,
it's so weird how so many seemingly different, paranormal things are happening in one location, and that's exactly why it's become the paranormal UFO hub.
Yeah,
and even beating like Nevada, the Area 51 in terms of weirdness per hour, I suppose, unexplained encounters. Yeah.
Well, they did two core samples. They did the one that you saw, which was down, and they really just got some stuff that basically
actually
turns out to be all the stuff that you would need to make an electronic device.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I did actually see that, because they did a spectroanalyzer on the sample, and there was a list of elements that this contained. But this is what I was getting at: is this all kind of coincidental? That these all happens to be all these minerals which do a thing that kind of store energy like a battery.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
This is where it gets a bit more funny, because at the mountainside, they did another one sideways, and they shoved the camera in there, and they found a metal, like a little circle metal thing, because they think there's something in there, because it seems like there's a dome in there.
Yeah, and
and they brought the
there is
metal
an
out.
Indentation in the ground.
And it was two different kinds of metal, but these two kinds of metal are really rare, and they should not be able to attach to each other, which they were. One was on one side and one was in the other side. Well,
maybe it wasn't actually a meteorite that actually hit us. Maybe it was the mothership.
Well, this is where the questioning is, because of all the little kind of weird stuff. I mean, it's like the people who live around there have. There's a road down there where they're pretty scared of, because when they drive down there, some people have like the Skinwalker running at the side of the car on 2 feet. Next to the car, and no matter how fast you're going, it will go at the same speed. So it was scaring people. Every now and again, you know what I mean? It was reported here and there. It wasn't reported like all the time. But it's the case that once they start digging, there's so much goes on. Even, from down to people over at the other side getting ill for no reason. Or like there was one who was nearly died because he had nearly a blood clot in his head, and he was
There's been loads of reports from people, local people. According to the Daily Beast, Mr. Hicks, he's been following the Utah's extraterrestrial scene since the 1950s.
Yeah.
After an incident where he believes that he and his students saw a UFO floating over their heads Kind of reminds us of last week's episode, if you've not checked that out.
Yeah.
Hicks has become the number one advocate for all things Skinwalker, and he's one of the few people who actually kind of really believe the legend in his hometown.
Yeah.
Hicks estimates that at least half of the Uintah Basin, which is about 50,000 residents, have seen aliens or witnessed a UFO incident in the sky, from floating lights, flying metallic cigars, as well as
Well,
orbs,
this is the thing. It's
spaceships, aliens doing congas.
Got proof every time that they do digging. That a UFO comes out, and sometimes a portal opens up. The cat will run away to a different area. Your magnetic north is going in a different direction. I mean, like when they started drilling at one site, they went off to the east. There was drilling going on in the triangle, which was an important area, and they went. A couple of them went off to the east field. So when they went over there, they were checking some of their equipment, and there was gamma rays were going up, and then the magnetic north was actually pointing at the rig that was doing the digging.
Yes,
instead.
yeah, it was. It was kind of freaking out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was kind of doing, like couldn't pinpoint any north, really, could it? It was just doing a...
And one of the security guards as well, it's happened a number of times now where whenever the gamma rays go up, something is hacking his phone. They're bypassing all his security, all that kind of stuff, going through phoning his mates and like going through all his documents, all the stuff that's going on in the phone.
So who's hacking his phone? Do you think it's? Do you reckon
this
these
is
aliens
the question.
Are in the ship below the ground? They've got some sort of like they're able to kind of phase through materials and just hide out under the ground.
There is a 1.6 megahertz signal being pushed out and back all
they
the
found
time.
that when they did the Tesla coil test, didn't they? They found a signal that was in there, but it was
always
almost
1.6.
It was almost like they were. I mean, like I said earlier, it's kind of interesting to see them what they get out of pumping energy into the ground, But it'd be almost as interesting, if not more interesting, to find out what energies they can draw from the ground, right?
Yeah.
But what they found when they did pump it with the higher frequency was that there was a spike, and when it came back, it was almost like it had been amplified and returned at an even higher frequency.
Yeah.
A frequency that the Tesla coil's not even capable of producing.
Yeah.
So that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to scientific explanations. Is there something that can explain why the area is so kind of drawn to these sort of phenomenon?
Seems to be this portal that seems to
porthole,
be there. There seems to be
a portal's on a boat, Sunshine. You're talking about a portal.
Yeah, portal. Yeah. Which is 100 feet up, and they've done.
Where's it a portal to?
Many tests. Well, we don't know because they even got an helicopter to go around the area, and it's.
Well, what you do is you build on it. You build an house or build a tower, which has got a level which is accessible to the portal.
And they've sent balloons and rockets up there, and they've disappeared.
Send in a guy. You need to send in.
Well,
you
don't know what's on the other side.
Exactly.
How
That's
are you going to get back? All
you
them
don't.
Questions.
You just got to fucking hope and pray.
Oh, look for a suicide gym. Yeah, just get in that suit and like.
That's
we'll throw you in there.
Some fucking dude will take
someone
that
on
job.
death row. Yeah,
You'll be like, right, it's a one-way
favour.
mission, but you never know what you might find.
Yeah.
It might be better.
Yeah, might be a better life here or not. Do you want to take that gamble or do you want to go to death?
We can communicate as long as we can, and then, just tell us what you can see, and then, whatever. If you manage to kind of survive, then good for you.
But there is definitely something there that's stopping, that's messing around with the gizmos on the floor. I mean, even telescopes you can't recognise. The computer on it cannot recognise
through glass.
stars through it. Yeah,
it's glass, man. There's no most of telescopes are fucking glass. There's no electronics.
No,
in it.
there is electronics to show you. If you're pointing at this star, what
you're
it
looking
is
through
and
a
stuff
fancy
like that.
telescope.
Yeah, these are a big, expensive 50 grand like telescopes, and they're missing stars. And then they're bringing groups in that are looking out. They've got loads of gizmos, and when they send the rockets up. The moment the rocket goes up, all the equipment dies.
So, do you think these, if it's a bit of an upside down sort of Stranger Things sort of portals?
Well,
I mean, to be honest, this is it. Stranger Things actually goes into kind of like MK Ultra, and using this portals, like that sounds very kind of up down that road. In terms, if you've watched Stranger Things, you might know what I'm talking about.
Don't forget the CIA and that have been down there to investigate.
Quite a lot of
they wouldn't do anything if there was nothing there.
Like I say, stuff's been happening on this ranch for quite a long time, and in Utah, Utah,
they've got
not just to mention
number,
like the ranch. It's been happening all over the state.
Yeah.
In 1975, Frank Salisbury claimed that he found hundreds of UFO reports.
Oh yeah.
From Utah and nearby areas, each one weirder than the last.
Wow. Well, yeah. Well, I suppose, because no doubt he want to get in more depth as well. So,
well, he wrote a few kind of papers on it. He said there was a few separate individuals who said that they'd seen metallic aircraft floating above them. Some said that they'd witnessed cigar-shaped objects, and at least 250 people who witnessed a UFO hovering over them on an oil rig. Right. They said that it was the very oil rig that later exploded, according to the Desert News. And the bosses told the men to hush up about it.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm surprised actually with 200 people, but mind you, like the one we did last week with the kids, there was over 200 people. And
exactly. They were told to shut up. I mean, that story I just did there, that guy earlier, he was a school teacher that was told to shut up about it.
Yeah.
As well.
And I know of one over Moscow as well, where I've seen the video of it. There was thousands. There was at least 20,000 people there, and just above them was a massive fucking object.
Well, here's another one from the area here. 1964, whilst driving near Salt Lake, a man spotted a humanoid figure at the window, and he basically, it was highlighted in an emerald green light.
Oh, yeah.
And it basically used telepathy to ask him to beam him up. Is it all right if we beam you up, mate?
You are Scotty, aren't you?
Can we do some tests on you? We've got a really nice cold.
At least
probe
it was nice to ask. You know what I mean? Instead
cup of tea. Do you know how to work a cow? We need milk.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's what he need from it. Where'd you get sugar?
But yeah, I mean, there's been so many sightings. I mean, like I say,
hotspot, man.
He was this teacher who was told to shut up in 1951.
Yeah.
After an incident where they believed that there was he and his students saw UFOs floating over their heads.
Yeah, and people shouldn't shut up. They should open up, and we should find out more about it. Because no doubt there's more than what people say. I'd say there's at least another 2/3 to come out and go, well, you know what, I did see this, or I had this experience. But,
well, we were talking about cattle mutilation. So do you know, like, I mean, so cattle's business, right?
Yeah.
So you're
it's still a working ranch.
It's a working ranch, right? Yeah, but when you've got a prize bull, right. Well, that happened to the Sherman family actually.
That's right.
In 1996, the family's prize bull was mutilated vanished.
Yeah,
it vanished into thin air.
Yeah,
basically. Another 3 were found mutilated in various brutal ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty grim.
And he even seen
that's why I think that's why the Skinwalker comes into it, because I think like if it was a beast or a sort of something like that, then maybe that's more likely to attack people, animals, whatever.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it was the first day, I can't be 100%, but I think it was the first day when they got there. And he had a couple of rifles because, of other animals around the place. He's got to look after his cattle. And there was an animal at the bottom of the drive. And it was walking up. And So he shot it with his rifle, and it did fuck all to it. It just carried on walking towards. So he asked his kid to get the 38 out, so bigger round. So he's come back out, shot it a number of times, did nothing apart.
This is why if you're on a ranch, right, you need a 50.
Yeah.
If you're going to be out in the wilderness, you need a 50.
Fucking hell.
I'm from England and I know that.
Yeah, hell yeah. But luckily, it actually taken off a piece of its skin.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this on the last episode, didn't we? Because they actually thought they'd send it off for analysis.
That's right.
And they said it was like some deer or something
it was
stupid,
some kind of
like
other kind of animal.
Ox.
And it was like, hold on, but well then that can't has it got rabies or something?
Well, that's it. I mean, if the kind of Navajo thing's correct, then the shapeshifters, aren't they? So could they potentially? Is that part of it where they're changing physically, turning into a?
Well,
another
supposedly,
animal. Who knows?
Yeah, but a lot of things happened in the house as well when they were there. Like he literally chained everything up. He wouldn't let any of the dogs out. He wouldn't, and they all stayed in one room.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think that the Shermans or anybody? I mean, right? I feel like nowadays that the hype about Skinwalker Ranch it's more people know about it. People know about what's going on. There's a show about it.
Yeah.
There's we've talked about it number of times. Yeah. You know, it's known for these things happening, right?
Yeah.
The Shermans, right, who kind of started it all off in the sense that they started kind of publicizing their stories. Their
stories seem a little bit more, they were in the worst at that time.
I'd say that the idea of using the ranch for,
business,
for a business, building basically.
Up. But why would you do that and buy the cattle? Oh well.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing because the Sherman family actually didn't make any money from it. They witnessed a lot of violence occurrences. They actually were financially worse off for it. The family income took a real big hit. So it must have caused a lot of anxiety for them, and eventually they moved away. And sold the ranch. There was too many aliens.
Never to go back.
Aliens, ghosts, spaceships, all that shit going on.
Everything going on there.
So I think like in terms of whether they did it for financial gain. It didn't. That couldn't have been the case because. So it does lend a bit of kind of credence to the story. In the way that they've got nothing to gain from lying.
Some things were definitely going on because even people who visited there, even now, people who visited there, things go a bit wrong sometimes.
The interest from such people as Robert Bigelow, right. Why he would take an interest in the ranch after these sort of incidents have occurred. Like you said, he's one of those people who want to know He's
got two passions
for space, aliens, and what's
UFOs and
the afterlife.
The afterlife, what's afterlife? There is two passions. And he's known in Los Angeles as the king of single weekends.
Well, he actually studied UFOs for the Pentagon.
Yes,
Bigelow. Right. He's big in the game, if you like. He's
like the CIA in that were involved. Coming in, there was some of who worked on the project were actually CIA or ex-CIA. So there's going to be a lot more secrets because there is actual talk that there is a lot of evidence that went on. Well, there was evidence. There was evidence not brought out.
Right. This is what I don't get about the government when they go, "Oh, we'll investigate it." Yeah, because obviously back in 2007, the U.S. government was so freaked out about UFO reports from military pilots that the Department of Defense doled out $22 million in black projects. Yeah. To Robert Bigelow. At his aerospace company to try and kind of work this shit out. So whether they already had working craft that they'd confiscated and passed on to Robert and went, reverse engineer this bad boy, will you?
Well,
welcome to Earth.
Well, this is also a question about in one like episode, there was a grid in Homestead 2, I think it is. So they went over to it and they've got like radiation counters on them, and they opened up like this grid. And when they opened it up, all the radiation counters went off, and they went off at dangerous levels. And one of them, Dr. Taylor, he actually...
Dr. Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Any relation?
Really no, shame, no. But he got a really big dose of radiation and went off sick for a little while. They ended up closing it down, and there was a question of, well, where's this radiation coming from? Was it used from the military? Did they do experiments here, trying to test out some, nuclear weaponry, but went wrong or some shit like that?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because they did do testing like that in the desert.
Oh, yeah.
So potentially the ranch could have been like
a little test
affected
area.
by nuclear fallout or whatever.
Yeah, and the family's not necessarily need to know about it because it was done under their ground.
Could just imagine, like, do you know who was it? Keith and Edith Meyer, who owned it originally. Like,
right.
they did have like some MP or like military police guy or some general coming to the door going, "Excuse me, folks. We're just here to do some nuclear testing. There won't be any effect. Don't you worry. We'll pay you some money.
Well,
here you go."
Not necessarily. They could have just dug a hole and went from the other yard right underneath them. Because there is something under there.
Well, maybe.
Well, there is 1,000 feet down. They don't know what it is.
I loved actually. We were talking about when they were doing the drilling actually, and they was opened up a cavity, and I almost felt like they were about to say, "There's a river of slime."
I was surprised it didn't come up. There was loads of water, but underneath that, there was even better stuff, actually.
Well, there you go. Well, the Skinwalker Ranch, it's an ongoing mystery, fascinating, and I'm sure we'll have... Have you got any more you want to talk about on it, or anything that you've flagged up as new evidence?
No, for the portal I was on about, they did another test with helicopters. They put GPS on like flag, and then just dropped them.
They send a drone in.
Well, they've tried the drones, but drones like mess up, and they can't even tell direction.
Oh right, so they lose all radio signals and
any
stuff.
kind of electrical systems seem to like go off when they start digging, and there's even like magnetic forces within the ground. But it's all over the place, and it just doesn't pan out. I mean, they spill, what was it, 40,000 gallons of water, coloured water, and it just disappeared. They've done it with smoke. The smoke's just disappeared. Yet there was a story of, in the side of the hill, there was a hole where one of the kids went in, and he said there was like a big cavern, and there was something in there, big silver thing. And
sounds like a spaceship to me.
Yeah, and this is where they're now trying to find the cavern, is which one.
Right.
And they're putting smoke bombs and stuff.
Will they ever find it?
But there is gaps because they did throw a smoke bomb in, but the smoke wasn't coming out. It was going somewhere else. This is the thing you were saying this about,
the idea that, I mean, I watched some of these mysteries. I love Oak Island, and it seems very formatted. It's the same format. It's, you've got a bit of investigation on a plot of land, and then you sit around a table and discuss where you're going next and what you found and whether it's worth doing it. And I enjoy watching the show, but like in terms of like about kind of having direction, and in a lot of these mystery shows there's an ongoing mystery, but like they've got a bit of idea about it, whereas this is a lot of stabbing in the dark to see where they get a reaction and then trying to piece it together. And I mean, I've got no harm in that, because you're trying to try a lot of different scientific experiments to try and work out what's doing stuff and what's not.
Yeah, it's definitely something there, but what is it? And
exactly,
that's what they're trying to find out.
And narrowing it down to a point where you've got, like, you've ruled out all the explanations and whatever's left is the answer. So, fair enough, yeah.
Well, and it also comes down to stuff like language, because he brought a Jewish priest in who knows a lot about the background and done the language and the mythology, the legends of stuff that go on.
The mythologies.
Yeah, that's the one. So they Housestead 2, they did an experiment because something went on there. So they put like heat sense cameras down there. He did the prayer, and like at one point, like the bottom of the ground went total blue, total cold. Just with that, and then it went back to normal.
Right. Okay.
And then they even spotted an orb of some sort, but they couldn't see with their own visual eyes going around the place.
Well,
and
that's pretty interesting stuff. I think if you guys have ever had any experiences,
or if you've ever gone
ranch,
there,
if you've been on the ranch, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Also, what do you think of Skinwalker Ranch? Have you seen the show? Do you think it's a legit? Is there something going on there?
It's definitely something
we'd
going
love to
on.
heir your theories. If you want to get in touch,
or tell us we're wrong,
you can send us a message at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. Or alternatively, go to the website where you can go to the contact page and contact us via there. Or hit us up on social media.
Yeah.
So you can get in touch with us anywhere, really, can't you?
Yeah, we're everywhere, man.
Like a
bad
penny.
Rash.
Like a bad penny.
Well, yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Well, it's the time of the show where we ask what's going on in the world today. People fighting, feuding, looting. It's okay because it's this week's news.
It is.
It's the news. Oh, yes. And we've scoured the World Wide Web to find you.
Yes.
This week's
Just
fucked
you.
up and crazy news. What's going on in the world? Well, we're about to tell you. And we've got some stories. We've got some great stories, actually, this week. And we're going to start with the first tree-hugging championships.
Oh, yes.
That happened in Scotland
this
week. The event basically was what it says on the tin. It was a big tree-hugging competition, which was actually really quite nice to watch.
Yeah, did you hear of some of what the competitions? There was 3 competitions. First one was you had to hug a tree for at least 5 seconds, and it was how many trees you could hug.
In a allotted time. Yeah, there was also the freestyle tree hugging competition, which was the most inventive way of hugging a tree.
Yeah.
The winner, let me say if I can get this right, Alastair Firth, who lives in a local woodland croft.
He knew what he
was doing. He turned up in a very Leith there.
Yeah, I believe he was the only one.
Tree themed outfit.
Yeah.
But a lot of people did turn out to hug a tree, and I mean, getting back to the roots and getting in touch with nature. Some of the creative ways of hugging trees though were pretty impressive. There's a lot of photos if you want to Google it.
Yes, and there's actually the competition. It's not the first time competition's been around. It's actually I can't remember.
They've
which
been
country.
hugging trees for years, people.
Nah, there is actually a competition in one other country, and they actually had.
Well, it's the first one in Scotland.
It is the first one in Scotland, but they had to ask permission to do the competition, and they granted them. Yeah, go for it then.
Well, I like it.
I do. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it'll cotton on.
I think everybody tomorrow, if you're listening, right, just make an effort. If you see a tree, give it a hug.
Yeah, it's got feelings.
Hug it from me too. Give it a hug from me. Yeah. Have you got anything you want to talk about? I thought I'd kick off the show with a nice story.
Yeah. Because Amazon cameras for the doors, the doorbells, ding dong.
Oh right. So we've just lulled our listeners in false sense of security. Now you're going to mortify them with something that could happen to them.
Go on.
More
than likely. Which they just found out that the police have been taking.
So it's not even people hacking them; it's the police
that have been taking. I think it's 11,000.
Just goes to show how lazy they've become.
Yeah,
it's like they can't even be bothered attending. They just go look on your fucking Ring doorbell.
Yeah, exactly, and then find out criminal activities as well. You know what I mean? And it's
that's a bit kind of
without their permission.
I thought. Right, that if they're not so say if the police turned up at your house, right, and they had a specific purpose for being there, but you opened the door and you were smoking cannabis, but that's not why they were there, then they're not allowed to really do anything. I thought they were like,
because if they suspect a criminal act's being happened straight away, because there was not that long ago.
I mean, these limits. I mean, it's like if they turned up for a noise complaint and they found out you murdering somebody, then they'd go, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, but if it was something minor, they'd probably go, do you know what?
Yeah, it depends on the copper, I'd say.
I don't know. Maybe are you
That's
a copper?
if you turn up.
Let us know. I mean, what would you do in that situation? Or is the law the law?
Well, it's supposed to be the law, but, you know, there is a lot of people out there.
No, because there's a lot of people
who...
Oh, wait a minute, right? Because there's a lot of people who do believe that based on the you know, what police are prepared to do, that theft isn't actually a crime anymore.
Yes, that's I believe
because they don't see it as justified, worthy of their time.
Yeah,
in
that's
pursuing
what you pay for, and you believe
a thief.
Yeah.
And you know, there you
go.
It's mad, isn't it?
The only ones they generally go to, as I heard, was actually you know, domestic or a business.
Whoa. It's a domestic.
Yeah.
Don't get involved.
Yeah, but, you know, the police have to do that. But then there's a lot of people and charities and that shouting out that, like, you know, look out for, you know, your neighbours, or look out for, you know, people are having problems, you know, speak out and, like, get the police involved. But then the police are like, well, we ain't got time.
Well, this is it. I've got a story here, actually. It kind of leads in quite nicely because I've got a story about, you know, people go about these old detectives who, you know, they've done the job for 60 years, I'm one day away from retirement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, here's your clock.
Yeah, get your clock and a fucking watch or whatever it is, a bottle of fucking whiskey.
Yeah, gin or something.
And they send you off, right?
A 12-year bottle.
Well, head over the way. Well, this is a story about a new detective.
Okay.
Yeah, could just fresh out of the academy.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe he was. Maybe it's Mahoney, right?
Mahoney,
or Hightower.
Yeah, Hightower.
One of the recruits from the academy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have come into the, you know, the fucking precinct.
Yes.
Yeah. And maybe it's fresh eyes. I don't know, but because they basically clocked it straight. They've gone, new detective solves a 60-year-old mystery.
Oh.
Yeah. And declares a deceased guy from Utah. I think he was, you know, another. We're keeping it Utah.
Yeah.
Declared him a serial killer. So I don't know. He's clocked that that this guy had obviously done the murders.
Yeah.
But like, you know, as a new recruit, just walked in and just solved it.
It's that, man.
Like, wait a minute. How come it's took you guys 60
years? Then it could be questioned on, like, because you've got no one, because the guy's dead now. You can't question him on certain things.
It was him. Yeah, but wait a minute.
In that position.
So yeah, actually, he couldn't. He might have just be like, you know,
might have been just DNA. You know, just like, oh well, just let's check this DNA. It's a cold case, and it actually come up trumps, and it was like, bang! Oh, actually, I've seen that one before.
Well, he's pinning it on a plot in a cemetery where there's a small headstone that simply reads Monty R. Mertz, 1911 to 1965. Right. And he's saying that Mertz is potentially the killer. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Well,
then, is it really solved?
Well, no,
in a
not
way.
Essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not, is it? Because, like you say, I mean, you can't actually say...
You just want to put the paperwork away. Yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you might as well just put it away.
Stick your cranes back in the box, son. All right, have you got anything else?
I actually meant to say it last week because everyone's talking about it now. The WHO have put monkeypox on the highest alert ever. But it's questionable because the way I've calculated it out, it's every 3 days there's another 2,000 people who are catching it.
But I'm not saying it's not a thing, but I mean, I've not seen.
I don't think it's such an emergency.
I mean,
it could be.
This is the thing when we've just been through this pandemic.
Yeah,
it's like, is it as bad as that? We're comparing everything else now to this pandemic. It's like, do you know before pre-pandemic? Yeah, I reckon that there was a lot more people calling in sick. Yeah, right. For just stupid stuff like, I'm not feeling well. I've got a stomachache. I've got a cough.
Yeah.
Because I was on the night out before or whatever. Yeah. But because now we've got this sort of extreme version to compare with, being just a little bit ill isn't as bad. You know, you don't feel, so you get on with it. Yeah, you don't feel like it's actually you're not ill. You just get over it and get past it, because compared to COVID, it's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, psychological, but I don't feel like I've been ill half as much, if not at all.
Well,
that's
that's up on the rise again.
Since I've had COVID.
That's up on the rise again. And the thing is, the question for me is, it went to a council of 10 to actually vote, should we put it on the highest alert? Is it that desperate we need to do it now? And 9 of them turned around and said, no, we won't do it. We don't need to do it. And the head of the WHO turned around and went, we're doing it.
Well,
and put it on there. So, that's the council were there for a reason.
It? Yeah, I mean, are you having,
why?
It's like having a democracy and then a dictator coming in.
Yeah,
saying,
so
well,
basically,
fuck you.
And don't forget, the 94 countries that are involved with them, they're trying to join up as one, so the WHO can take control and tell your country what they have to do.
Yeah, but that's only advice.
No, that's going to be the ruling.
Well, no, because
we'll have
I mean,
control.
like, at the end of the day, the WHO have advised all the countries a similar thing.
Yeah, and everyone's
done
a different thing.
Whether taken that advice or just kind of said, well, we're going to try it this way. Yeah, then that's up to them. But I mean, as a World Health Organization, all they can really do is offer the best potential strategy for dealing with these things.
This is why they want all the countries to join up, so there's one voice to tell everyone what they have to do, even if, as like it's going to be proven, is wrong, with all the jabs and that. And there's actually a new jab that's come out.
Fuck jabs. I don't want any more jabs.
Yeah.
You've got a jab for this.
Well, they recommend you should have another jab now.
I know they are, because at the end of the day, it's they've already established that your immune system, it gets a boost, but your immune system still gets kind of worn down by it after a while, and you were still essentially, after a period of time, vulnerable again. It's only when you can start, you get it again and then build up your tolerance. Again, or get a jab to build up your tolerance again. I mean, they've already proven that the jab is as effective, if not less effective, than your natural body immune system. But we're not allowed to talk about all this on podcasts because we get took off the air. It's not fair anymore. There's so many things. We have to sign a declaration every time we bloody publish one. True. Let's move on from this.
But I just wanted to say, there's even talk about, and this is through scientists, who talk about the injection could have changed DNA. There's talks about that at the moment about it.
Right, okay.
So we'll move on from there.
Well, other science news.
Yes.
Right, yeah. Science news. This is regarding CERN.
Yeah.
Scientists at CERN are, this is according to one person's tweet. Yeah.
All right.
Who said CERN scientists are communicating with demonic entities to open a portal to hell.
Well, you did when they started it again.
Probably at Skinwalker Ranch. Maybe that's where it's a shame they didn't think to build it there.
You know what? And they have got one in America as well.
Could have built it in Utah, in the basin. It's perfect.
Or is that that could be actually the form of where it all goes to, instead of where actually the place they built around it but didn't say anything. It's a centre of the whole.
Sussed it.
Well, they have done that weird cult dancing and that, and they said they've done it for weird. Fun.
Yeah.
And when they turned it on, the green clouds again turned up above them.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. It is messing with
It is
things.
dangerous. It
dangerous.
Is. And they've already found 3
whether it's a portal to hell or not. But the ambassadors over at the Hadron Large Collider, or the Large Hadron, the LHC, are basically undergoing repairs and maintenance, so they can do more science.
So they can
get back to crashing protons and learning more about the origins of the universe.
Yes, and did the Big Bang really happen? Question.
I'm sick of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just getting fucking interruptions every 5 minutes.
I know, it's terrible.
Bad production.
It is.
That's what I say. You're trying to juggle 20 bajillion things.
That's true.
2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's true too.
If anyone wants to come and be our technical guy, or just leave us to chat shit and you can do all this, then send us a message.
Yeah, you could help us right out.
Anyway, Yes. So news.
News. Congratulations to the women's England football team.
Getting through to the final.
Final against Germany as well.
Say, they're more athletic.
Yeah.
They do manage to maneuver the ball a bit better. I don't know. I've never been into football as a fan, but like, you know.
Not really into women's football.
I do. Well, no, I'm not into football at all. I
bit.
just think it's a bit kind of pointless. So I've never been really into sports. So like, you know, for me, football's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Right, but whenever I see a big event like, you know, the World Cup,
it's World Cup.
You know, as a sort of national pride, you kind of try and get involved a bit.
We haven't won it since '66, you know. Like the girls could do it.
We get into the semis and then we get knocked out quite often. Right. It's a bit of an anticlimax, right? You know,
that's right.
So these girls, when they're smashing it like fucking between 5 to 8 nil a game,
how England men's team should have been doing it over the last number of years. Then,
so I mean, they're
really
doing pretty well. I mean, like, well done to them. I can't say fairer than that.
Yeah. Even coming in second, they've done the country proud.
Yeah. So who are they against? Germany in the final.
Against Germany, yeah. But
now they've been up against some pretty top tier teams, so they say.
Yeah, the top team, and he battered them 4-0.
Every result's been a
phenomenal.
It's been like a quite high nil score.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So well done to the girls.
Good,
I think it's been a pretty kind of eye-opening experience to a lot of people getting into women's football.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who didn't give it the time of day, and now
true.
they're kind of. And I hope that, in the sense that. Because, I mean, let's face it, men's football, the endorsements are there.
Yeah.
There's a lot more money.
Yeah.
And
a stupid amount of money.
It
could go
the
to
pay
the girls
scale
and
reflecting in, you know, what's kind of like what the ladies earn to what the men earn.
Yeah.
Maybe now this is going to be an eye-opener for these people to kind of start paying them an equal sort of pay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's down to the build-up, you know, because it hasn't been just starting off, but it's been, you know, it's at its
well, you know what I'm saying. I mean,
it's
a bit like the differences are kind of phenomenal, and I can only assume that they're not on nearly anything like what the guys who play for England.
Well, if they win tomorrow,
I'm sure
Sunday,
that'll change. Yeah, and good for them.
It should boost them.
And not only for the monetary gain, but like, you know, for the idea that that's going to encourage a lot of people to kind of take up the sport. Or take up, you know, some sort of athletics, or, you know.
Yeah, you need to move your body.
You do indeed.
You do indeed. You bit disco, get in.
Well, yeah. Gateway to Hell's, don't think so, right? No. Anyway, boom. MIT astronomers detect a strange heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Right, mate, this is apparently a strange heartbeat they're detecting billions of light years from Earth.
Could it be an animal?
An animal, yeah, you said this actually earlier, and it was quite an interesting spin on it, because, like, you know, we assume that in scale.
We assume a lot.
We do assume a lot, but think about scale, I mean, we could be tiny. I mean, like,
could be
tiny
a micro,
in the sense
could be a bit of food for an
that
animal.
we think we're quite a large mammal. Yeah, right. But in, you know,
realistic
the grand scheme of things, it could be something out there that's Earth-size, that's alive.
Yeah, because we think the black hole is our enemy. And like the sun is our freedom, because the sun gives
gives us life.
Yeah. So that seems to be, you know, like the top of the rank of, we've got to avoid one of these, definitely. And then meteorites and stuff like that. But
you know why? You know why that is, don't you? Because we've always been programmed to be the darkness is the evil, the light is the savior.
Yeah,
and
totally.
It's the kind of the idea that the light brings life, and the darkness is cold and unforgiving.
Yeah, it's the end of everything.
Yeah, and an ultimate darkness isn't a good concept, really, is it? No, if you get into that, you're kind of fucked.
Well, unless you could get back into the light, but I bet that'd be so difficult.
Go towards the light.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've detected this heartbeat. Yeah, so this is a distant neutron star.
Right, okay.
Which has collapsed. The core of a large star has collapsed between 10 and 29 solar masses.
Oh, we might be able to see the flash off it.
Maybe.
Yeah, because there was one a number of years ago that you could see the flash of it if you went out at night, but it's the time because it's already happened, but we're just seeing it now.
Well, they're also detecting from it a strange presence of a radio signal from a far-off galaxy. It appears to be flashing in synchronization and in a surprising regularity.
Oh yeah, if I remember rightly, I think about 2 years ago there was a part of the galaxy which there was loads of. It seems to be like communication between galaxies, and it was like and planets, and it was like, what's going on there? And I don't think they ever solved the problem on what's. So it sounds like that there's a lot more out of there than.
Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know, but aliens, I mean, but you think like I like your concept. I mean, goes into kind of like the idea of like even though we kind of feel like we understand a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, even just the scale idea. I mean, we kind of think
small
on one scale.
Big,
do you know what I mean? Whereas like what's going on beyond our recognition or acknowledgement of what's out there. Somewhere else, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's one of them. You know, we could be destroyed in a second, and we'd never know, or we could actually be inside an animal as it is.
Fucking hell.
Or even, I've always thought
I wondered what that
brain.
smell was.
I always think it's the brain, actually.
We're living in someone's brain.
Because
in God's brain.
If you have a look at the pattern of the universe and it's like it looks like brain strings, connections together, all the
synapses.
parts. Yeah, and it's all that kind of stuff, and that's what.
Not really, but I get where you're coming from.
That's the way I see it, from big to small.
It's a
all
big
the
brain,
same, but just in different scale.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Yeah.
Right. Any news?
Secure Team.
Well, I've not watched Secure Team for a while. I mean, I do like Tyler and his Secure Team, but I've not really had the chance to check out his new stuff. What's he saying?
Yeah, he's just brought out a new video about someone's brought out a couple of weeks ago. I think it's about a week ago. A video that come off the dark net, which it seems to be of 3 blokes who are found an alien in the snow, and they didn't touch it. They only touched it.
Is
with
this somewhere
sticks.
in Russia?
No, Canada, I believe it was.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. And they ended up using like string or rope and hanging it up. You know how, like in Victorian days, they used to pay like a shilling to lie over a rope so they didn't touch the ground.
I don't know this.
Shilling,
Gav, we'll make sure you fucking don't touch the snow.
Rope
fucking not going to do you any favours. You might slip.
Yeah, and all you did was you put your arms over and you slept that way.
What, and they carried you around on a bit of rope?
No, it
hurt.
One rope from, like if you were in your garden, your washing line, like that, and then you just lean over it. That's it.
Like a zip line? What, you pay for a leaning rope?
Yeah, because of the roof.
But
that's Victorian era. And don't forget, kids going up and
scrubbing. It was like you had chimney kids, you had like, whooping stick.
Yeah, there were a lot of money around.
So what did you do to play? We kicked a tin can.
Yeah.
Down the alleys.
Yeah.
Yeah, down in Victoria. We played with some horse muck.
We did. Well, this alien...
Go on, get to the point. Anyway, so they hung him on a washing line.
Yeah, they hung him on like a washing line and took photos and that. But the video seems to be a video of it being on TV and someone videoing it.
Okay.
Because at the time...
videoing the actual broadcast.
Yeah, so at the time they all agreed that we wouldn't say anything, and they went away and come back the next day. They left it there after messing around with it. They buried it again, went back, and it was gone. But the only evidence seems to have been this video.
Right.
But it looks like the body parts are in the right places. I mean, it looks like there's certain things. Some people have had a look at it and gone like, compare it to, a dead person, like where the muscle structure is and stuff like that, but like an alien kind of face. But there's a lot of questions around it, to be honest. But it looks like a good video.
I mean, is a lot of people will be like, it's a hoax.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you know, you never know that. You know what I mean?
You don't. And then this is the thing. I mean, it's like, you know, I always say that about people who go around going, I'm Jesus.
Yeah,
and they go, well,
you can't be 100% on anything.
One of them might be. You know, you never know. So,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. This is it. I mean, even if it was 1%, that it could be. I mean, this is the kind of question you used to say about UFOs. There's not no aliens. No, well, you explain what that was, and look at it now. It's like mainstream instead of like thrown in the corner and took the piss out of.
Yeah, indeed.
You know what I mean? So you never know. It could be. It might not.
Well, do you know? Talking of aliens, do you know the Polish Institute have classified cats as an alien invasive species?
Oh, right. As in alien, or alien as in alien species?
Cats, man. So Warsaw in Poland, yeah, right. Yeah. A load of respected Polish scientists at the Institute has classified the domestic cat as an evasive an invasive alien species.
Dirty bugger.
Yeah. What do you reckon to that? Some cat lovers have reacted emotionally to the news.
Get the dogs out.
Who let
the dogs out?
I mean,
now the cats are gone.
Cats are kind of like ignorant. Yeah, right.
Oh,
and
they are the
their own
devil's
thing.
Fucking
but to go as far as saying that they were aliens, I mean, what do you reckon? Cat lovers everywhere unite. Yeah. I mean, there's a theory that owls are alien. Now,
octopuses as well.
I'll be honest with you, right? Because I've come up with this theory a couple of times. I've said this about, like, you know, people go on about the story of Noah and the Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, based on the diversity of life that is actually on Earth, yeah, and a lot of it does look fucking alien. Don't get, you know what I mean? You can't argue.
Yeah, but don't forget, filmmakers
How do you know
nature.
that all this life was not brought here? There's also
always
a rumor. There's also a conspiracy that we were seeded here. Yeah,
you know what?
Or brought here. So potentially all the other wildlife. And that's why it does look alien, why it acts alien to us and has different behavioural traits.
I was just thinking about that. How we don't know that an alien ship with a big cattle just lands and drops it in an area and makes the animal grow, and then we find it as a new species. Well, then we help that species adapt and carry on and grow even more in different places.
Well, they reckon, what is it? They've got a database of animals with 1,786 species listed. You know, that's quite a lot of, you know, species. I mean, well, the uproar over the evasive alien species thing resulted from some social media reports that created a false impression that the Institute was calling the cats, you know, unauthorized species on the planet or something.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cats and they need to cull them. Basically, that's their excuse to we're gonna have to cull them. Get rid of him.
Maybe that's it. Maybe because that's what they're getting
like
at,
certain
because
areas
there's too many of them. They're basically overpopulated.
Yeah. So we'd have to move them or cull them. We'd have to do something. Get some nice
being an alien. You know what I mean? An alien evasive species sounds pretty harsh. Anyway,
it does.
Sounds like they're here to conquer.
It does. We're taking over your land.
With fucking headbutts and just fucking all they want is feeding. I mean, it's like they do take up quite a lot of your time in that respect. Anyway.
Well, yeah, that's true, and moaning at you all the time.
Cat lovers everywhere. What do you think? I think cats could be aliens, but not as much as owls.
Well, yeah, but
and octopuses and jellyfish and all the other stuff that we mentioned.
Octopus, possibly, I'd say. But have you heard this about? There's been a warning about DNA and how unsavory. Well, no, it was a weird conference about how DNA now they have the ability.
I think you've got so many questions that we should ask our friend from DNA Today back on. If you're listening, come back on the show, get in touch.
Yeah, I you know what? I have got some questions for if
we'll have
could
to see if we can arrange that.
But they're now saying that you can target an individual if someone wanted to target you.
What, just by
your DNA?
Oh, yeah. So they could just mix up a potion.
Yeah, and throw in a crowd, and it's like just got you, and that's it.
Ah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's like and people who've been looking out for their history through the DNA and that's where all the information is being sold to the other agencies
they've got to have your
like
DNA
that.
before they can do anything like that. I mean, if you're on,
but you're already give it in.
Well, no, if you're on the database, if you're on the, what was it, the Human Genome Project or whatever, then potentially they might be able to put you on a list, But if you've not ever given blood or got involved with anything like that, then, they've first got to obtain your DNA to be able to generate the fucking toxin or whatever it is
but everyone now, if you've had a blood test a while ago, and that your DNA now is being tracked. They know which DNA's to. So it doesn't matter what you do, unless you've never been to hospital or.
Just get on that DNA. All them DNA fucking ancestry websites are probably the same as well.
Yeah, easy at hack into and
So
shit like
what's
that.
the bottom line here?
The bottom line is that we're in a dangerous little period of it's like making
only
if
you've got a beef with anyone that has got access to this sort of technology and DNA manipulation.
There are a lot of terrorism groups out there.
Maybe, but I mean it seems it's very sci-fi movie, and I think even though it's possible, whether it'd be used. I think it'd be used in extreme cases where if they were
it'd be easier to tag a president or a prime minister.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of effort to go to just to fucking. I don't know how these people mind work. To be honest,
it depends how big a grudge you've got. You know what I mean? So, and there are a lot of people out there with grudges.
You shouldn't hold a grudge.
No, you shouldn't. But
just let it go, man. Rise above it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I found this story about wildfires. Yeah, in Slovenia. Right, not only did they devastate the area with fire, but it was so hot that they were actually setting off unexploded World War II bombs on a battlefield.
Man.
They were actually once used as World War I battlefields. Right, actually, this is it. I think they're not World War II. It was World War One era bombs,
which would be more volatile as well.
Yeah. So apparently, on 22nd of July, there was a detonation. Firefighters worked nearby to contain it.
Yeah.
But it kind of like the wildfires consuming Slovenia. Basically, the blaze moved across the area,
setting off other ones
onto a once battlefield from during World War One. It kind of obviously the heat must have kind of penetrated the ground and set off the bombs.
You know what?
Making it a bit more dangerous. Obviously, if you're there firefighting and all of a sudden a bomb goes off, it's not going to be fucking helping your cause, is it?
True, but through them facts you've just said, it made my head go, well, actually, you could. Thinking about it, you could use that kind of thing to actually get rid of bombs or mines in an area, which is set.
They were actually, so I was right the first time. It was World War One and Two.
Yeah.
It was a major problem because they had more than 1,000 firefighters.
Fighting a blaze.
Yeah, and Slovenian military working and containing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's. Yeah, because you don't know which one's going to go off. You won't be able to walk in there for a long time.
Well, no, not only that, the fires were pretty bad. It kind of spread over 5,000 acres of land.
Fucking hell.
So, but I mean, obviously, when you've got that and then you've got bombs going off on top, that's pretty hardcore to deal with.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's true. Fucking hell.
Have you got any more stories? I've got one or two, and then a bit of NASA news.
I've got one. There's been small talk by high individuals about cannibalism.
What?
About seriously?
No, everyone's going meat free these days. They're all vegans. Do you know what I mean? It's like if your sausage ain't fucking corn, we don't want to know about it. Go on. So what are we going to talk? The flavour of human in tofu.
But that's bad for your DNA. You shouldn't eat human because it's...
wait a minute. We learned from the
DNA.
mad fucking cow disease
Yeah.
that feeding your own to your own
exactly, doesn't work.
bode well, does it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, I mean, cannibalism, right. There's only certain extreme circumstances where I think cannibalism's acceptable, and not even acceptable, like, you know,
Russia,
kind
World
of
War
like
II.
a bit kind of. So, you know, oh no, what was the story where they're kind of going over the mountains and they end up? Yeah. So like the Thingy Pass,
or
story.
the film Alive,
or Alive,
yeah.
Or
where
if
you
you're in
crash.
an extreme situation where you've got no choice,
I take the buttock.
to survive. And it was potentially not just killing somebody to eat them, but eating somebody who died naturally. Yeah, or not naturally, but in the incident
And
or
you'd
the
have to do it
crash.
fast. Mind you, don't have to do it fast, would you?
I mean,
really?
and then I'd still be a bit like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, but
right?
it's down to survival. I mean, you would not.
Yeah, but putting it
until
on the
you're
menu,
in that position.
Putting it on the menu for what reason? Why?
Well,
is
hold on. There's supposed to
cannibalism-
be in New York a cannibal like restaurant. There was loads of
What?
rumors. Yeah, there was a cannibal restaurant. They even
I don't believe you.
Yeah,
That's got to be illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I do know that you can advertise yourself as being like, I want to be eaten, and somebody could go, okay, and if both parties are consenting.
Yeah, as long as you haven't killed him. Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure about
Oh,
this.
yeah,
There's
I've
gotta
checked the
be
law
some
out.
sort of law.
I've checked
Have
the
you
law
checked
out
the
on-
law
yeah,
out
I've
on
checked
this?
the law out on it, yeah, and yeah, your cannibalism
Did you just
in this
fancy
country
being eaten
is
one
not
day and you
illegal.
thought, do you know what, I'll check it out, see if it's, do you know, I don't want to be breaking the law.
Well, no, but it makes me question on why
Or
are they
maybe
bringing
you're
this up.
are you eating people, Taylor?
Well, I'm going on a human diet.
A human diet? Okay.
Yeah.
Staying away from him.
But my question against it is
I was going to say microwave them.
why are they talking about it when at the moment we're having food crisis? It's going to get a little bit more, hopefully, just a little bit worse.
So they're offering it as an alternative.
So it's an
like Soylent
alternative,
Green.
yeah. So then does that mean then like Fred down the road, like he's selling his leg for a fiver?
No, I
so
think
he can
so.
go and
So
get a
basically,
loaf of
where's
bread.
this come from? Where's this come from?
This
Who
has
said
come
it?
from a lot. The Pope has said something about it. The President has said something about it. There's been loads of other leaders
fuck
around.
off! I don't
No,
buy this.
yeah.
I honestly don't buy this. So what they're going? Oh yeah, everyone's going.
Check out the cannibal.
No, how I see
thingy.
it is someone's made a joke somewhere. Like they're going, oh, everyone's bothered about eating animals. We may as well eat humans.
No,
sort
but
of
they're looking at
attitude.
it as a possible idea.
Yeah, well, nah. I think
You know what I mean? And
I'll
it's
stick
like,
with beef.
Yeah.
I'll stick
But
with beef.
it all
thanks.
comes down
chicken
to
and beef.
It all comes down to what happened in Russia when Russia collapsed and like there was the farmers or the fields. There was no food. There was a lot of cannibalism that had to go on. Dogs in the street, all sorts.
Dogs are not cannibalism. Eating
No,
a dog
and
is
humans.
not eating human, is it?
A lot of humans were ate to survive and survive.
I'm pretty sure they could find something else, right?
Check out. It
In a
was
situation
desperate
where
times.
it's desperate, you're up a mountain and you've got no way of getting down, you're snowed in and you
It was
literally
sort of-
got nothing.
It was sort of like that.
Well,
It
fair
was-
enough then.
yeah.
I've said that, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, the end of the day, it's like.
So it makes me think: are they going to
are
do
we
that?
in
So
that
we
much
will
of a
be in that
crisis?
position.
Are we in that much of a crisis that
Yeah.
we need to turn to eating our people
Yeah.
for to stay alive in survival?
Well, this makes
No,
it
I don't
question:
think we
is
are.
it for yet? You know
No,
what I mean?
no, it's not.
Hopefully not, but
Definitely not.
the knobs.
What
at
do
the
you
top.
guys think at home? Is this
Yeah.
I mean, are we at a stage in the energy crisis, in the cost of living crisis, where we have to turn around and go, well, there'll be no turkey this year.
No,
but
there'll be
we're going to
Harry.
have to eat grandma.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? That's definitely not going to happen.
No,
Yeah.
no,
I
too
mean,
wrinkly.
literally get down the food bank. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all you got to do, right? I mean, you might hurt your pride, but fucking hell, at least granny's safe.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving
well,
on.
It's been talked.
I don't believe that that's going to be an alternative. They'd rather feed you. Fucking go. We'd said this about
Well,
they
the
used
world's
to do
going
them
weird
things
at the
in
minute.
Selfridges with like a scorpion on a lolly stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd turn to insects before they'd turn
Yeah.
to cannibalism. I can't see
Well, this
that.
is it. This is the alternative. You can either have insects or you can have your mate's buttock. You know what I mean? It's one of them.
Here's
One or the
another
other.
food-related story.
Yeah.
A fight over a waffle maker ends up with a man being shot.
Oh, fuck. He probably wanted his waffle.
He did want his waffles, but now he's dead. Do you think he should just eat him?
Oh, shit.
He's like, well, we's going to have waffles, but he
Yeah,
may have his
shove his
ass
hand in there.
cheeks now.
Shove his hand in there. You might be able to do one.
Maybe he could have a man waffle.
Oh, yeah, I wonder. Yeah, he might have the taste for it then.
This happened in Huntington, West Virginia. Fighting over a waffle maker sent a man into hospital on Friday evening with gunshot wounds. So the Huntington police were on the scene, and they said the incident was reported just before 6 p.m. In the of some terrorist, some place, I don't know. Officers say the victim was not shot in the foot, shot in the foot after the diner time fight. No one else was injured.
Okay, that's.
He was shot in the foot, during the fight. So they shot him in the foot over a waffle maker.
Yeah,
he was in a
that's
diner.
a minor then. It's
He's in a
waffly
diner.
versatile, isn't it?
Was it two? Wait a minute. Was it two of the employees? He's like, wait a minute. Are you using my waffle maker? I've got orders I need to make. Stop using my waffle maker. You keep leaving batter all over it.
Yeah, stop putting your fat over it, man.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, is that extreme?
No, I think he deserved it. Yeah, if he was messing with his shit,
I do
get
love
the
waffles.
fuck off my shit.
Oh, waffles.
Yeah, he must do. Well,
Right.
why didn't he go off and get his own waffle maker?
I don't know. I don't
mate.
don't have all the answers
Why not?
to life. Do you know what? I know this one's pretty kind of fucked up, right?
Yeah.
This is a social media trend that's encouraging people to steal Kias.
Kias?
Yeah, do you know, is it Ford Kias?
Fiat Kias.
Fiat Kias,
yeah.
So basically, using a USB cable. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I don't know how to do it, but I mean, obviously, it's putting on TikTok or on whatever social media. At least 2 people have been arrested in Jacksonville for the offence because they've been watching this video on how to do it. The police have warned about social media trends that show criminals how to use a USB cable.
Yeah, you go to jail for that.
Instead of a key.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of like hack the car, basically.
Yeah.
The makers of the popular automobiles are prime target for car thieves.
Yeah.
The cases are growing across the US and Florida.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so if you've got one of them, keep an eye on it.
I would.
Maybe get one of them big fuck-off steering locks.
Yeah.
Or a boot.
Yeah, or clamp.
Clamp your car.
Yeah, clamp your car.
Yeah.
But then again, there is ways to get rid of the clamp. You know what I mean? So.
I don't know. I've never seen that.
And yeah.
No, because I mean, the way I see it is, right. If you've been clamped because you've like not paid your tax or whatever, then they know they put a clamp on your car, yeah. And if it as soon as you've took it off, then they're gonna go slap a big more fine on and claim you damaged it, and then stick a bit more fine on for a damaged boot. You may as well just pay your tax.
Right, there's a video on YouTube where an Irishman gets clamped and he goes to the clamp and goes, okay then, mate. Goes to the back, gets all his shit out, and he gets the clamp off without taking the tyre off.
Yeah, I've seen. I'm sure you can.
And in front of the guy.
But they've got a record. That's what I'm saying. They've got a record of them doing it.
But then they've got to prove that. Why are you finding me for just being here for blah, blah, how long? Was I actually interrupting anyone at that time? Was I, endangering someone? Because a lot of fines these days, it's just down the council need money.
No, it's down to they have a register of people who were on the road and been seen on the road who have got, outstanding...
so it's cashing
MOT or tax or insurance.
Yeah.
So
it's all cashing it. If you're not paying this, and they always want money out of you any way they can. That's why they put these laws in.
If you got in an accident and you didn't have that, then you'd be up
totally.
shit street, wouldn't you? So I mean, it's in your interest.
Yeah.
It's not about them wanting the money out of it. That's how much it costs to insure your car.
Well, then forget the money out of it and put them in jail for 2 weeks.
For doing what?
For
not
doing
paying
the criminal act that they did that they shouldn't have done.
Well, the criminal act is that you've not paid your fine, so you most often would get a boot on.
Yeah, so it's money motivated.
Well,
that's why they put these extra like little. I mean, like the new.
It's not. It's to say that you're breaking the law by not having the tax and insurance on your vehicle. That if you were to get in an accident or you've been driving around illegally,
it's more than tax and all that. I mean, it's stuff like I have to lean over.
I mean,
and
tax.
open my door in a way.
Your
now.
insurance is definitely needed. Like,
yeah,
anyway.
yeah. But it's more. I'm on about more defines like you've got to lean over now to be able to look into your mirror before you open the door. If you don't, I can get fined for that. What the hell?
Well, that's safe drive. They want you to perform. It's like you always used to have your hands at 10 and 2 or whatever.
But I can do it with this hand and look into the mirror and see back where I am, which I do, and then open the door. But it's because some people don't do it that they're bringing in these laws, but also putting money into their back pocket. Because where does it go? It doesn't go back on the road or fixing the roads or anything like that.
I always find that a lot of the times when they do dodgy stuff like that, then they get caught out for it. I mean, look at all those
but there's got to be
fines they gave during like lockdowns about people being out and about. If they're doing something unethical, then they'll get called out for it.
Yeah, but there's more than just fines. Obviously, fines don't work on that because they've been caught out, a number of times. So what are you going to do next? Right, I'm going to put you in jail for 48 hours.
Yeah, but the people don't realise
make you clean this for...
By getting in that situation, then you're actually making them more money because you're not paid your tax, which you would have been like a finite amount. Yeah. But then once you've got into the situation where you've got a clamp on your car or you're in, a boot, like a fine situation... then that fine's going to be inevitably more than you would have paid initially.
Yeah, so, if they win the case.
Well, not a case. There's no case about it. If you get a fucking a penalty for having no tax on your vehicle...
Yeah, you've got the right to go to court.
Right, but your car's still... What, you're going to drive around with no tax still?
No, you can't use that vehicle,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if you want your car back on the road, then you need to just ring them up and pay the fine, which is, like I say... is going to be more than what your tax would have been. So
yeah,
if you're bothered about and making money, then by paying your tax, then you're taking money out of their pocket because they would have charged you an extra £100 for fining you.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So by going, I'm not going to pay my tax and let them fine me and I'll take them to court, then you're actually putting more money in the pocket.
Yeah, but they could get a lot more out of it.
You don't know.
No, because they could get like what they do when sometimes when they don't pay fines and they put get them to clean up the park and shit like that. Well, that's money. That's
community service.
Yeah, because that stops the money going from the councils into that department and can be put in other important places. Wow. So you're actually and it would be less money spent on doing it that way than it would than the council going right. We've got £1 million to put. I
think we're going round and round anyway, round the houses.
I think
we've got some NASA news. Yeah. Space is where we should be going, and do you know what?
We will be.
You can be going to space quite easily with the new carbon neutral spaceship.
Oh, right.
That's being unveiled. The space tourism race is, obviously booming. Everyone wants to go to space. A new rocket has been, we're always kind of coming out.
Yeah.
But the company's hoping to, get a bit of a niche with their carbon neutral, zero emissions way of getting to space. It's basically a fuck off hot air balloon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, sending something to space by balloon, it seems to be quite an easy way of doing it. I mean, this is how I
as long as you don't pop when it's the top.
Sending something to space. But, I mean, this is the thing. If you can kind of control the altitude, like the you're going up and down, then you've smashed it, haven't you?
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, true. But how are you going to get down? You
just kind of, it's like when you're in your, Willy Fogg in his fucking hot air balloon there, and he's like, you heat up the air, which takes you up, gives you lift, and then you cool down the air, which drops you. Do you know what I mean? Cool air is heavier than warm air.
Yeah.
So you just kind of
the stuff on there.
They'd have to do something. I don't know. This is a Florida-based company. that have kind of plans to take passengers 100,000 feet into kind of near space.
So right at the tip, I suppose.
The tip of the top.
Yeah, or just below the tip.
Well,
What you could do is enter the competition, Hack the Galaxy.
Really?
Yeah, which is a competition that will send you to the edge of space.
Maybe it's in this.
It might be. But you've got till the 28th of August to actually enter. And what it is you have to answer a quiz question, which I suppose it's going to be a mathematical one. And
I don't know. I've not seen the question.
Well, I might get in.
I want to see you in space.
Because the winner will actually go in space.
Who's it going up with? Is it with Bezos or is it with...
It doesn't actually say.
Musk,
but there's free tickets.
With these geezers?
There's free tickets, or you can have
it's a pricey
grand.
prize, that. I was going to say 130 grand,
yeah.
So they can get a cash alternative.
Yeah.
It's like... You said earlier they give you a bit of money if you win the prize, though, don't they?
Yeah, there's loads of other different prizes.
It reminded me of one of those, Price is Right situations where it's like, you and your family could be jetting off to space, and we'll give you £500 to spend while you're there.
Yeah,
it's like, wait a minute, what am I buying in space? It's like, we've all got pure gift shops.
But they've got a lot of gifts like telescopes, like jackets. They've just got.
It's nice. Just like, I'm amazed.
Yeah, but free tickets. But you got 28 days, 21 minutes.
And what's that called?
That's called Hack the Galaxy.
Hack the Galaxy. Go and check it out. You might win. If you win, tell them we sent you.
It's a game, and if you win it,
it's a game. It's a game show.
You're into summer. At least 130 grand.
You might even get to go to space if you want to.
Yeah. Which one would you pick?
I think I'd probably pick the money. Not that. It's just that,
but it might be your only chance to go up to space because
it could be. It honestly could be, and probably would be my only chance to go to space.
Yeah.
But there's a lot I could do with 130 grand. You know what? If you wanted to see aliens, though, we've talked tonight about Skinwalker Ranch, and that is a hotspot.
That is.
But apparently Washington, is been crowned the #1 state for UFO sightings this week.
Nice and good.
It's funny that, isn't it? Because we always going about them landing on the White House lawn.
Yeah.
Maybe they're gearing up. Being spotted in Washington.
They thought it was going to happen in 1952 because for a couple of weeks there was UFOs hovering right over it.
All right, well, there you go. Well, July is the top month for UFO sightings.
Yes.
So you very likely could see one. Maybe it's because of the clear, clement weather.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they like visiting in the summer months.
Yeah, because, it's nice.
It's like summer holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? But, apparently, you're likely to see them in Washington and Texas. So if you're in those states...
And what's going on around them states? That's what I want to know. Why are you having so many of them?
Don't know. Chili cook-offs?
It must be. Well, there must be something going on.
Well,
you know what I mean?
There's my
must be
NASA
visiting
news.
the president. Or they might have been getting the senators who've just passed the first authority bill for NASA in 5 years' time to take people to the actual Mars. And
to the actual Mars, not the fake Mars.
Yeah, not the one round the corner. Including funding for Red Planet.
Well, they've got to have. We were talking earlier about like people who, we like when we were saying about portals, and I was saying like, your next thing is try and send someone through it. Yeah. You were saying it was a suicide mission.
Well,
or it's a one-way trip at least. Yeah, you're never going to see anyone again. And this is exactly what they're asking. They're asking for people to go on a one-way mission to Mars, potentially risk their lives and never come back.
Do you think old people should go?
What will the old people?
Actually, not. I mean, from let's say 50s onwards.
If they can stand,
onwards.
if they can stand the trip, then
which I don't think they can. That's why you have experience. I mean, now NASA's got to pick a group of people who they probably already have and trained them up.
I mean, William Shatner was 95 or whatever, where he's gone up to space.
Yeah, that's true, but he only, he used that.
He touched the tip.
Yeah, exactly.
He
you know
touched
what I mean?
the tip of the top.
He dribbled out over the top a little bit.
That's disgusting, Shatner.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
it made you think, right?
well, there you go. I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean,
Would
I
you
think
go?
if they asked me, and I don't know, if it was a bit more established and I wasn't going to just be kicking rocks.
What about if them free tickets in 28 days? What if you that is the start of it to go there for a couple of years?
What ignites my passion in space travel and makes me want to go on a Mars
check
trip?
check out what's actually out there.
What, like Johnny Adventurer, Space Cadet?
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. It could. I mean, Shatner's not aching. I don't know if he's aching to get back up there.
No, I don't think he is.
He's probably like,
no, unless Bezos pays for it.
Yeah, I know. That's it, isn't it? It's like I'm not putting my hand in my pocket.
Yeah, but
not
he's
got
just lost.
Not got to where I am today by spending my money.
Well, that's true, but he's just lost $2 billion off his when his accounts come in.
Who is
this year?
Bezos?
Yeah, he's lost $2 billion, but he had problems with a car. His car.
He probably invested quite a lot into his space program, but then when NASA didn't want to back him, that's all financially his pocket, isn't it? So
shit. That's true. That's true.
That's the end of the show.
Yes, it
Unfortunately, we could chat all night
for hours, but we need sleep.
Well, it's not only that; we're running out of memory on the chip.
Oh no!
So you know what I mean. We've got to rule this thing out.
Yeah, we have.
But we've enjoyed chatting to you. If you've enjoyed the show, if you've got anything to add, any queries, comments, or suggestions,
did you like us?
Yes. If you liked us, let us know.
Too. Yes.
We'd like to hear from you by whacking the subscribe button.
Oh yes.
Give us a thumbs up or a like.
Oh yeah.
You can make our day by heading over to Patreon.
Oh yeah.
And giving us money.
Oh, buying some merch.
Because we are just poor boys.
We are.
Nobody loves us.
We get nothing for doing this. It's all stock.
I mean, we don't lay it on fake. Well, but you know what I mean? It's true. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean? We do it for the love.
We do. We do.
And at 5 years coming up,
and
considering we've still not got any Patreons, I think it might be time that you go, do you know what? We'll give the boys a bit of a
hand up. A little
treat.
Yeah.
Anyway,
any millionaires out there, a fiver.
Moving on.
You know?
Moving on. We don't do it for the money, damn it, but it really takes a sting out of it.
It does.
We'll be back next week.
We will.
With a shift in gear, I think you'll find.
Yes.
Yeah, as we move into a more social season over on the Never a Straight Answer podcast.
Yes, we'll be social.
Very social.
Very social.
But in a very enlightening way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, tune in next week where you'll find out what the hell we're going on about.
Yeah.
But it's got a bit
money.
It's got something to do with Wonga.
Yeah.
Loads of money.
You're fired.
Well, we'll catch you next week. We're available on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcasts, we're available on iTunes, Spotify, Alexa. Apparently, we're big on Alexa.
Are we?
Yeah, if you go say, play the Never a Straight Answer podcast, then it will.
Oh,
that's
great.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll be back. You can check out the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk. And there's plenty on there from videos and blogs, all sorts of stuff.
We've got back catalogue of stuff there.
Plenty. Plenty to be getting your ear through. Do you know what? I mean, in terms of content, we're on to episode 185.
Whoa.
It's a lot.
Plus,
so, we've got plenty to choose from. So you can always go over and check out old episodes.
Oh, yeah, and the extras, which makes it a lot more.
Indeed, it does. We're available on Instagram at Never Straight Answer and Twitter at NASA_never.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the show. We'll be back next week. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We'll see you next time. Peace.
Out.